You cannot budget your business like you budget your home. It doesn't run the same way.
Correct.
And so many businesses do not know financial language. And so the minute you sit down and they say, well, can you talk to me a little about your cash flow? You got the deer in the headlight look.
Follow the Leader features dynamic women entrepreneurs in their journeys to becoming a success in business. This podcast is an inspirational space for entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs, and thought leaders as they share their keys to success. I am Chanel Christoph Davis, the CEO and founding partner of the largest woman and minority-owned sales tax advisory practice in the country, Davis & Harmon, LLC.
So today on Follow the Leader, I am so excited to have on the show VR Small. She is the founder and executive director of the Veteran Women's Enterprise Center. She's a certified SCORE mentor for SCORE Dallas, and she is newly returning to the Dallas area. She'll tell us about her transition back to Dallas. And when she returned back to Dallas, she immediately put her business skills to use, supporting women via SCORE and WINGS. She continually focuses her energy on developing innovative programs for women, veterans, and small business owners, turning visions into realities as the founder and CEO of what we would, I guess your acronym would be WVEC?
WVEC, yes.
Yes, a national initiative launched in Southern Dallas as the first of many VWECs projected for Texas and our nation. So this is interesting. So this would be a nationwide push. Okay, awesome.
Absolutely.
So welcome, VR. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so I want you to take us to the beginning. How did you get so much passion around veterans and women initiatives? Where did this come from?
Well, I've always had a passion for women. I started the Brooklyn Executive Business Women's Association when I lived in New York. It was the first Brooklyn chapter for NAFE, which was the National Association of Female Executives. Within less than a year, we grew from about 25 to 150 members. We had the fastest growing chapter on the East Coast. And so I just always had that commitment that I believe that women helping women is just a strategy that works.
Right.
And that this whole concept of sisterhood has to go beyond conversations and it has to really move into action. So what are we doing to help each other? You know, beyond saying I'm here, how are you stepping into that place to be a service to another sister? And I don't believe that we need to be connected by always. I think those connections are great, sororities and different associations, but I believe by nature of us being women, we're sisters. And because of all the inequities that we experience, we don't have the luxury of picking and choosing where we're gonna help each other, that we need to step in where we need to step in. And so that's kind of like always been a baseline for me that, hey, if I can help another woman, I'm in.
I love
it. When I moved back to Texas in 2015, honestly, I did not envision starting a women's program. I had been teaching. I love teaching. I wanted to get into the college environment, get involved in my doctoral program. I had a process I had put together through my business. I wanted to research that, write a book, and, keep doing what I was doing. But I love teaching. And for whatever reason, as many colleges in the DFW area, I just wasn't getting any hits. In fact, it was a really kind of difficult transition. And I think a lot of people were saying, hey, it's your background. I was the executive director for that women's group. I was the CEO for my company. And then I was a senior exec in a university. So here you come with all of these skills. Are there really opportunities at that level all the time? And I think just kind of when I emerged, those opportunities weren't there. And I started saying, okay, well, I'm going to need to make some opportunities for myself. So I joined HCC, which was Honor, Courage, and Commitment. It was a veteran-focused entrepreneur program that helped you either start entrepreneur ventures or nonprofit ventures. And at the time, I had a program called Employment Now. I'm not going to tell you more about it because that's my intellectual property. I haven't given up on that yet.
Okay.
Because it requires AI, it requires a lot of money, a lot of investment, but I still think it's doable. And that's kind of what I went into the program for. And while I was in there, I was approached by, I saw this thing happening in Lubbock, Texas. It was called Roll Call. And it just sounded awesome. It was 3 days of women programming for female veterans. And I was like, wow, this is great. So when is this coming to Texas? Because it seemed like it rotated from place to place. And I reached out, and it was being sponsored by the Texas Veterans Commission, Veteran Women's Program. And they emailed me back and they said, yeah, this is going to be great. You should come to Lubbock. And I was like, no. When is this coming to Dallas?
Right.
And they emailed me back again. It's like, yeah, you should come to Lubbock. And I was like, okay, they're not getting me. When is this going to Dallas? So I guess they finally realized I wasn't going to stop emailing them. And they said, hey, we tried to do this in Dallas and no one was interested. And I just thought that was crazy. Because when I moved to Dallas, I was encircled by veteran programs. By people saying, if you're a veteran, go here, go there. This person's going to help you. And honestly, there were a lot of people, trying to help me in my transition. So I know that they're there for other people too.
Yes.
And I wasn't even really looking. All I had to do was just mention I was a veteran. So they brought the roll call here. They did a conference call, like 12 different agencies jumped on and said, we're in. We had this big 3-day event planned, and they asked me to do the entrepreneur program. Honestly, I thought it was going to be simple. There were so many things listed on the website as entrepreneur support. I figured I'd just call all these different groups, get them to come out, and we're going to have a great event. Interestingly enough, 98% of the people I called either were defunct or they didn't have a representative in Dallas.
Interesting.
In fact, in 2016, we didn't even have a women's business center.
Okay.
So I had to call on my colleagues at SCORE. They came together. We put together a great program for the women. I think we had about 26, 30 women that showed up for the event. But what happened was people kept reaching out to me. What's next? I'm thinking, like, what's next? No, this is a conference. We're done.
Right. It's a conference. It's done. Check. We're moving on. Yeah.
Next year. Call us back next year. We'll do this again next year. And so I started researching, like, why, where's the need? Is there really a need? And honestly, there is. So when I did my research, I found out from the Census Bureau and the National Women's Business Council had already kind of went through all of their data and pulled it out and did a report on women veteran. And between 2007 and 2012, which is when this report was issued, and it's only done every 5 years, so they wouldn't have been doing another one to 2017, women veteran-owned businesses grew from 4% of all veteran-owned businesses to 15.2%, which was nearly 400,000 new businesses.
That's amazing.
That's a lot of business.
Yeah. Okay.
We even outpaced African-American women, who were the fastest growing segment in women businesses in general during that time period.
Wow.
97% of that group were non-employers, but they still reported over $7 billion in receipts.
Okay.
The other little 3% reported over $10 billion. They had over 100,000 employees, and really interesting, they reported more than a 56% increase in their payroll. So women veterans paid well, okay? Right. Now here's what was shocking. That 97% nationwide, average revenues, less than 25 grand. So we know that's not a strong business. Gotcha. So what's happening here? And then the 3%, the census does another survey called the Annual Survey of Entrepreneurs, and they did a deeper analysis, and they said if that 3% did revenues or receipts proportionate to their size, instead of 10 billion, they should have reported over 29 billion.
Wow.
Okay. 3 times. So women veteran, period, from the low end to the high end, just were not performing at the level they could or should be performing. And so my thing was like, what could we do? And so as we start talking to women, we found out women like to come together. So co-working, unbeknownst to my knowledge, was already $1 billion business. Okay. I just knew women wanted to come together. We needed to find a place where women could come together.
Kind of create an ecosystem.
Exactly. So we said, women like camaraderie. We want to come together. We need to come together. We need to work more effectively. So that's kind of how the center concept came into effect. And we knew about co-working. So we knew a lot of women didn't have money to do their own, commercial space. And although they were working from home, no one wants to give out their home address. So co-working was a great transition. But then also we knew we needed training. So we created a conference center within there so that we could have our own training and things in one location. I think you need to think about it environmentally too, people driving all around, all over the place. So you consolidated things. And we created a cafe lounge. So maybe you're not an entrepreneur yet, but you want to be around entrepreneurs. Or you just kind of want to meet with different people that you're thinking about doing business with. The co-working space is not really for that. So the cafe lounge is set up for you to be able to go and do those kinds of things. And then we have our virtual mailboxes, and we want to put a copy center in there. So that's kind of where the vision came from. And we call it our CEO suite of services. So C is all of the brick and mortar I just spoke to you about.
Right. Mm-hmm.
E is our enrichment programs. And in our enrichment programs, we look at work-life balance with a focus on military issues. You know, a lot of our women have PTSD. They have MST. They've experienced MST. And nobody wants to talk about it. Most women don't want to talk about it. You don't want to be a victim. You don't want to live in the past. You want to move forward. But it's still an issue, and it still needs to be addressed.
Nice.
So we want to make sure that we create programming that doesn't single a woman out, but allows her to get the support she needs without a finger being pointed at her. No one wants to tell their business potential client, oh, I have PTSD, so there's going to be a bad day. Clients, oh, she might flake out on me, so I don't want to work with her. But we still need to handle those issues. And then the O is our opportunities. So we have our entrepreneur expansion program, which is kind of our spin on an incubator, and we're still building funding around that. And then our professional pipeline for advancement. Not every female veteran wants to own a whole business, but a lot of women want to work in the business environment. It's flexible. It allows you to really, use your skills to be innovative. So that program works with women to go through a leadership program that prepares them to work in the business industry. So we kind of looked at it as a full circle. And that kind of goes with our logo, that we get you going, you get your $1 million contract, you come back and say, VR, I need some staff. We hook you up in the pipeline. And then you've got your senior people to come on. You guys all know each other. You've all gone through the same experiences. You work kind of the same way because we do things differently in the military. So it's a great matchup.
So it's
that's
really
the concept behind the center.
About a full wraparound type of a service and incubator style to really take care of the whole woman veteran.
Exactly. And what we do is we try to fill the gap. So our mission is to help women veteran-owned businesses scale. So we really focus on established businesses. Those businesses, like the ones I told you about, they're hitting a wall. I can't get past 40. I can't get past 80. I can't get past that 6-digit figure. I just don't know how, or I can't get the financing. So we create these strategic alliances, which is what we have in Southern Dallas with the Homeless Veteran Service of Dallas. They manage the property, which is owned by the VA. But our relationship is with the Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas. And so we have 2,700 square feet where we have all of that brick and mortar I talked to you about in kind. And that's awesome. So as we expand across the nation, same concept. What city, what county, what municipality wants to serve their female veterans, they will provide the space, they will handle the renovations, and then we come in, we establish the programs, make the connections, and raise the funding to support that. So everybody has a role. Our next part of our mission is that we leverage public and private opportunities. And I'm so excited to announce, we've been talking about capital forever. Everybody's talking about how women can't access capital. We know this. So you have these different groups that have started investment firms, but we still can't really get that low-end capital that women need at that small level.
Funding, yes. The really scaling, yeah.
We just signed a contract with People Fund. We haven't even officially announced it. It won't even open until October.
Wow, so we're getting exclusive here. Nice.
We're getting an exclusive. It won't even open until October.
Oh, wow.
But we have launched our Business Growth and Access to Capital Loan Fund. It's only $100,000 right now. It is a 12-month, 3% fixed loan. The minimum is $2,500. The max is $10,000. And it is exclusively for women, veteran, and female military spouse. Chanel. Get to the table.
Nice.
So at a minimum, we'll do $10,000 loans, or $25,000 loans, or $2,500 loans, or a combination. But we are really not looking at the person the way the bank does. We're looking at the business and its ability to grow. That's why we call it business growth. If a person really isn't ready, their credit is just really, because, it is a loan. So we do expect you to pay it back. because
Yes.
the goal is to help you build business credit. So it's not a grant. It's not meant for you to get in and run. It's meant for you to pay it back so you can build business credit. But if your credit isn't good, we will be providing required pre and post financial support.
Okay.
And if we have to tell you no, it won't be no. It'll be, let's work with you.
Yeah, maybe not today, but just let's work with you and get you there.
Yeah, it's not going to be no. It's going to be, okay, work with us and we will get you ready, credit ready. So you may need to clean up your credit report. You may need to make some payment schedules, but you're going to have to work on it. But the thing is, do you want to get ready? Do you want to build your business? Because it is a business.
Yes.
And just like I'm in business, the bank's in business.
The bank isn't
in business to give money away. They're in business to make money. So if you look like a bad risk, the same way you're not going to let somebody come in and drive off with your car without a down payment or a contract, the bank's not going to just give you $10,000 when everything about you says you can't.
You're not going to pay it back. Yes, absolutely.
So we try to tell our business owners, don't think about it as a personal thing. It's not that your business idea isn't great. It's not that you aren't phenomenal. We're just not in the business of great and phenomenal. We're in the business of, can you pay me my loan back?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's what you need to be able to establish.
Yes. So what are some of the biggest barriers? And you kind of touch on a lot of different areas for veterans, women. You know, they have unique, specialized needs, I would imagine. What type of barriers are they experiencing? Have you polled your constituency to find out why they're having trouble scaling?
Oh my God. You went right to the next part of our mission.
Okay.
Which is to advocate for relevant research, services, and funding. So we just finished our Moments That Matter research project. It's 3 phases. We did phase 1 with the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. It was published the end of July. And that did a survey just for DFW. And again, I'd like to go back to the National Women's Business Council. They recommended this along with the SBA Veterans Advisory Council. We need more research at the local level. We have this big national data, but what's really happening? Is New York experiencing what Dallas is experiencing? Is Florida experiencing what California is experiencing? We don't know because we're not looking at it at that level. So we did the DFW letter. It was a small group, but that small group validated a lot of what we know. I had a conversation with someone in funding about the center, and she made the comment, well, women don't start big businesses. Big money businesses.
Oh, well, who told her that? That's not true.
But
no, ma'am.
But what I said to her is that's interesting you say that because we just had the conversation that women can't access capital. So how do I open a big manufacturing firm? How do I open a tech company? How do I move into something that is capital heavy if I can't access capital? Yes, so it's not that women don't.
Yes.
Big money companies, is that they don't get the financing to open big money companies. But women, particularly those of us out of the military, are go-getters. And we've already been taught, get it done with what you got.
Yeah.
So if you get to deployment and you got to set up your place and a couple of things didn't show up, you don't get to sit on your hands and go, oh, we don't have everything we need. Folks, figure it out and this needs to be up by 8.
Yes.
So figure it out.
Yes. And
that's what we've been doing. So when the bank says no, you get back to your kitchen table and you say, you know what? The bank said no, but I'm doing this.
That's what people call bootstrapping. You're bootstrapping your business.
How can I do it? And women are good at that because we know how to make ends meet. We know how to pull things together that don't really match up and make them work, from outfits to hair to anything else. We can take all of what we got and make it what we need it to be. And that's exactly what they do in business. But guess what? That works against us.
Yes.
When you take your 401k, when you take your savings, when you cash out your insurance policy and stretch your credit to the limit to support your business, the bank doesn't look at that and go, wow, you're a go-getter. Look how you invested in yourself. They look at that and say, you're a major risk because you're overextended.
You're overextended. Yeah, you took a second mortgage on your home. You've extended your credit cards. You've done all these things.
Everybody's telling you to invest in yourself, but they're not telling you the negative of investing in yourself. I was just watching a young lady. She said she wanted to do a construction loan, and we were giving her some references. And then somebody else commented, don't take out a loan. Use your own money. Da, 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 da.
Oh, yeah.
That is the worst thing that you can tell her, because once she becomes overextended, nobody's going to help her personally or as a business. If you can afford to take out a loan and you have a plan, not a game, not something in your head, but a written plan of how you're going to get from A to B to C, you should take out a loan, because you're going to start to build business credit. When I started my business in New York, my personal bank would not give me a business loan. I'm not going to call their name because they're still in existence, but I went to another bank and I pitched and I had good credit. I got a $25,000 line of credit and I got a $10,000 credit card. Because I had $35,000 didn't mean I went out and spend it. I didn't need $35,000 to start my business, but I had business credit.
Yeah.
And then I started doing business with organizations that will also give me business credit and report that I paid them.
Yes.
So you have to know how to begin to establish business credit if you're talking about having a business for the long term. Now, if this is a hobby, go spend your money.
Right.
But if this is a business,
yes,
you want to set it up as a business.
You have to get in the mindset of funding your business through traditional sources or alternative sources and alternative methods. Not use your personal, it's okay to have seed money that comes and, along the way to kind of help you through a little rough patch, kind of like a working capital just to kind of get you over a rough hump a month or two. But you don't want to finance your whole enterprise through your personal funding, because, like you said, it sets up a negative trajectory for your business that's going to be hard to get out of. And secondly, you're never establishing business credit. You're never getting to the point where you're establishing your business as a viable investment opportunity for any enterprise. So it's very
important. That is the other thing. People say, well, they'll only give me $500. Well, that's funny. Because when you applied to Macy and they gave you $250, you were thrilled. You took it, you spend it, and you kept spending until they upped it to $500 to $1,000. Well, guess what? The business is the same way. They only gonna give you $250 because they never did business with you before. They need to see if you're gonna pay it back. But it will grow just like your Macy's card. So don't throw your nose up in the air to that bank that says they're only gonna give you a $250 secured card. I mean, you have to put your money up first.
Yes.
Because they want to see, are you going to manage this money appropriately?
It's all about viewing yourself as being bankable. And another thing that's very important for business owners is, or aspiring or existing business owners, is to learn the lingo when you're going to talk to the bank.
Yes.
There's a way that you present your business and present your projections. You have to know your numbers. You can't be stumped. So you need to practice.
Yes.
Before you go and sit in front of anyone to ask for funding.
And actually, that's the role of the business plan. I have so many businesses that I mentor that actually end up dropping off because I'm not going to work with you if you don't have a plan. We're not shooting from the hip. So I'm not going to have meeting after meeting with you shooting after the hip. We need a plan. And then we will work the plan. And I find people drop off because they don't want to do the work. But the business plan, that back end work, that research, that's what builds your confidence.
Yes.
Because now you know your business, you know your industry, you know your competitors, you know your numbers, you know your audience, you know your value proposition, you know who your partners and players are. You know how to get from A to B. But if you don't do that research, if you don't do that back end work, then you're guessing. Yeah. And that's why you come to a bank meeting and you feel insecure, because they ask you questions you can't answer because you may know your product or your service, but you don't know your business.
You don't know your business. I mean, listen, I've been in front of my fair number, being in business for 19 years, I've been in front of so many bankers. I get to the point where I'm like, listen, I need to talk to the underwriters because you know, I don't have time for this. Yeah, I don't have time for this. Disconnect. Give me the underwriter's phone number. I'm just gonna call and talk to them. They're like, you can't talk to the underwriters. I'm like, but I need to talk to them. Like, I can settle this. Like, let me just talk. It's so funny. But you have to be that confident because they pick up on your confidence. Like, oh my God, well, she's not backing down. She must know what she's talking about because she's wanting to go above my head and talk to let's do this. Let's get on the conference call with everybody. And let's get this settled. Yeah.
But you have to be able to answer those questions. I have so many people. I had a call not long ago, and we were asking women about money. We said, "How much money do you need?" And a business owner said, "Well, I don't know."
Well,
They said they needed money. They started out by saying, "I need money." So then I said, "Well, how much money do you need?" And they said, "I don't know." And I said, "Well, then you don't need money.
You don't need the money.
You don't know how much money you need.
Absolutely.
You don't need money. You cannot walk into a bank and say, 'Give me a loan.'" They say, "Well, how much of a loan you want?" You're like,
I don't know.
Maybe 25. That means you haven't thought it through. You don't have a budget. You haven't researched what you need to purchase. You don't even know what you need to purchase. That is a worst statement you could ever make, is to say you need money and then not know how much and why.
Yes.
Don't even say you need money. Say, "You know what? Let me think about that, because I haven't really put together my whole financial budget yet." That makes sense. But to say you need money and not know how you need money or what you need money for just says that you're not in that place yet, because you haven't done your own research.
Yes.
And you have to do your
It's
research.
the absolute wrong. You're basically shooting yourself in the foot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The bank has already put an X on the paper. Now you're just going through the motions till the meeting's over. Because it's a definite no. Because you don't know your business. And the other thing is, no doesn't mean a bad thing. You might go to the wrong bank.
Yeah.
You're in real estate, but that bank really, focuses on
you're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're not at the right bank. You didn't do your banking research. So because that bank says no, it's not because you don't have a good business. It's because that's not really what they, support.
Okay.
And I found that out early on. Banks have their own, segments that they look at. So you got to know where to go.
And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the difference between a national bank and a small local regional bank, which they consider them community banks.
Yes.
We've all just been through the whole PPP, idle approaching of banks to try to get them to support small businesses. And a lot of people got a very rude awakening dealing with national banks. A lot of people were left in the cold. Small businesses did not get supported.
I have a client that's been with her bank. I won't call her name, for 17 years.
Oh, same here.
And they would not process her because she had a business account, but not a credit account.
Yep.
She never did credit with them.
There were so many weird barriers and criteria that really varied by bank. Like you said, everybody had their own set criteria about who they wanted to take on for all this COVID funding. It was absolutely fascinating.
You know what? We saw the writing on the wall. When I was watching the policy being put together, I said, man, this isn't going to work. Our businesses aren't going to get to the table because they're not prepared to go and do business with the SBA. I reached out to about 7 of my banking partners and said, hey, we want to raise some grant money, because we want to help those women that are not going to be able to qualify for this. And everybody emailed me back and said, hey, we're going to be dealing with our customers first, talk to us later. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When they said that to me, I immediately called my reps at the SBA and the Veterans Department and said, hey, this is going to be a problem. Because my partners have already told me they're dealing with their customers first. And I know that my women are not their customers. And I remember the SBA saying, oh, no, the banks are going to work with everybody. Everything's going to be fine. You probably misunderstood. I was like, okay.
No,
and what happened? What happens?
And not only were they only dealing with their customers, they were dealing with their customers that fit a certain criteria and profile.
Exactly.
You could be their customer, but you weren't their ideal customer for this particular product.
Exactly. And I remember someone sharing a story that both the man and the woman have businesses. It was a couple. And the man who had the bigger business, his banker called him and asked him if people would
you want to
business couldn't get through to her banker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Couldn't get the phone. So 2 people in the same household, both running businesses, one gets a call, the other one can't get her banker to pick up the phone. Absolutely. That is the difference between a banking relationship, a real banking relationship, and a banking account.
Yeah,
a lot of people got a bank account.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do not have a banking relationship. And we have been talking about that with our breakfast with a banker and getting banks to the table and learning what banks do what and really connecting and understanding your finances. But you can talk about cash flow. You can talk about what your income statement looks like, and you can run down your balance sheet without stumbling, without feeling, I don't really know what they're talking about. You cannot budget your business like you budget your home. It doesn't run the same way.
Correct.
And so many businesses do not know financial language. And so the minute you sit down and they say, well, can you talk to me a little about your cash flow? You got the deer in the headlight look.
Headlights, yep.
There goes that X already. I'm just going through the motions now because you can't talk to me about cash flow, which means you don't know your business finances. I can't invest in you.
Absolutely.
It's an automatic.
You touched on one of the groups that I absolutely adore, which is SCORE.
Okay.
Yes, they helped me, my husband and I get our, documents together when we first started our business in 2001. We got a SCORE advisor, bought we bid on a contract, we bought the bid to them, let them review it. SCORE is just a wonderful resource that a lot of people don't even know exists. So you want to talk a little bit about SCORE?
I do. So, SCORE has been around for many, many years. We have over 11,000 volunteers across the nation. Of course, you can connect with your local chapter. We have one in Dallas and one in Fort Worth. But the great thing about SCORE is you can connect with someone anywhere in the nation because you can connect online.
Yes.
And now with the video conferencing, which we've always had, but people like, one-on-one, you can connect with somebody in Washington that's doing what you're doing. You say, wow, man, I like her company. I like the way she's set up. I want to be like her. If that person is a SCORE mentor, you can connect with them.
Wow.
The other thing people need to know, you don't have to have one SCORE mentor. My specialty is strategy. Most businesses don't need me, really, until they get to a certain level.
Yes.
Because strategy isn't something that turns around tomorrow. You got to be in the patient mode to do what we do. And it's called planning and projecting. So everybody's in that quick motion. So you can get your finance mentor. You can get a mentor that specializes in marketing. You can get someone that specializes in technology. You can get somebody that can help you figure out how to research your legal stuff. Of course, we don't give legal advice, but you can have a whole team of SCORE mentors.
You can,
so when I hear
HR person, human resources.
When I hear a business person say, I don't have an accountant. Now I don't have nobody that I can call about accounting. What do you mean you don't have anybody you can call? Where's your SCORE mentor? Or I don't have anybody I can call about taxes. Really? Where's your SCORE mentor? They're not going to do your taxes for you, but they can talk you through and help you link into where those resources are. And then guess what? You got to make an investment. These are people that you need on your team if you're going to be successful.
Yes.
And you need them on your team in the beginning. Now when everything's all messed up and somebody's got to clean up.
You got to help get them established, put the foundation together.
Exactly. You don't want the cleanup team. That's going to cost you twice as much. You want the startup team.
Yes.
You want to get them on your side from the very beginning. And SCORE has a list of different providers. So even though we don't tell you, go to Chanel, you might be on our list. And so they get a list of 20 accountants and they call and they check out prices and they say, you know what? I like this person. That's who I'm going to go with. You get a list of legal providers. We don't recommend those kind of people. But you find through that list who you want to do business with. There's no reason for any business owner not to have the expertise they need because it's out there. It's paid for by your taxes through the federal government to be free to you. So use it. You know what I mean?
I hope everyone who's watching is listening to this. It's free 99 to get a SCORE mentor, okay? So there's no excuse. No excuse.
Oh, and you know what I want to say? A lot of people have had a bad experience. They got the wrong person. Mentors are not automatic. You got to find the right person that connects for you. Mm-hmm. That you speak the same language, that they understand what you're trying to do. So you meet somebody, they don't get what you're doing. Mm-hmm. I tell this story all the time. I thought Uber was going to be a flop. Who gonna get in a strange person's car and let them take you somewhere? I just thought nobody was going to do that. Like, it is not, there's no taxi thing on it. Nobody knows how to find them. Who's going to do that? Multi-billion-dollar companies. So you don't let somebody else tell you what idea is going to work. I never thought people would let strangers in their home.
I know, right?
Stuff. Like, I ain't doing that. But look how big that business is.
Absolutely.
So just because you don't get it doesn't mean the rest of the world isn't going to get it. So if that mentor misses it, and they're like, well, that's not a good idea, and we're not supposed to do that anyway. It's not our job to judge. It's our job to help a client validate their business so you can see, is this a good idea or a bad idea? And those words need to come out of your mouth, not mine.
Right.
So I may not believe it's a good idea, but it's not my place to say that or judge you. My place is to take you through the motions of validating.
So you make your own decisions, yes.
Right. So if you get a mentor who judges or decides your idea is not good, number one, they're not a good mentor, because that's not what we do. Number two, say thank you very much. You call SCORE back and say, hey, I'd like to try someone different. End of story. It is a free service. You're not obligated to anybody, and you can have as many mentors as you want. In fact, you may outgrow somebody. Somebody might have been good for you at the startup level, but now that you're at the next level, you may need someone totally different.
Absolutely.
So use that resource. We're going to say SCORE. I'm also going to plug the Small Business Development Centers, and I'm also going to plug the Women Business Centers. All of this stuff, and the Veteran Business Outreach Centers, the VBOCs. All of these institutions are paid for by your federal dollars to provide free resources to you. So if you're not using it, you're just giving away your money.
Giving away your money through tax.
Giving away your money. Mm-hmm. Why? Why are you giving away your tax money? Use it as a business owner so that you can be better, and you don't have to pay for this, at least not as much as you would have. Yes. If you just went and got somebody to do it for you.
Absolutely. So my question is, you've started your veteran women's enterprise center here in Dallas. So you created it launched in Dallas. What other cities are on your radar to expand the center to?
So right now we're in phase 2 of our Moments That Matter research project, and that is being supported by SMU through their SMU Hunt Institute through their Global Development Lab. And we're getting ready to launch a series of national focus groups. And actually, we're going to be partnered with a major government entity that I can't call their name yet, because that's not by line. Nice. But they have already said yes, but I you know how, you know.
Yeah, you got to wait till the ink is dry. You get it down.
Yeah, I'm contract with People Fund, so we got the paperwork. But we didn't see the paperwork over here.
Yeah. But
we're going to start doing research projects. And honestly, now, to tell you the truth, I would have loved to do a research project before I launched here. Because I'm an organizational development background person. So we follow on data. We're always looking for data. And the data drives decisions. And so the data is going to tell us where's the next place.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Where are the women veterans that need support? Where are the women veterans that can benefit from what we're doing? And then also, what community wants to support it? Because we're not going to go in and cover the whole bill. Right. You're going to have to want to, as a municipality or as a state or as another, nonprofit organization like the Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas that wanted to support women veterans, come together and say, hey, we'll partner with you. We'll create this strategic alliance to help you get started. Now, the center really functions like a social enterprise, not like a nonprofit, because we have 5 different funding streams. So the co-working space isn't free.
Okay.
Everything in business can't be free. So the co-working space isn't free. The conference center isn't free. The cafe lounge is membership driven, so you just don't have people coming in, drinking free coffee and hanging out. So you need to be a member. Okay. The copy center, will be fee-based. And of course, the virtual mailboxes are fee-based. So we provide a service to the community at a rate that we try to keep below market. But the service level is exceptional.
Right. So you're just basically providing a hub, and you're doing it at a rate that's friendly to the veterans.
Cost effective.
Cost effective. Yes, absolutely.
Cost effective. And absolutely. So we have those funding streams that allow us to match what we do, so that in many instances, we don't have to keep coming back for funding, because as the center gets up and running, it funds itself.
Very nice.
A real center would also have retail space. So that's a funding stream for us, a cost-effective place for you to set up your retail, particularly if you have a small business. And we're also adding residential living for women who are transitioning and know that they want to start a business. Will be a part of an incubator program for transitioning women veterans who are trying to start their business. Okay. So a full-scale center has 3 levels, but this is the model It's only in Dallas right now. And it only gives you those first three components, our CEO suite of services. It doesn't give you the retail space yet, and it doesn't give you the residential space.
Okay.
But that is the next level.
Okay. So how has COVID impacted? You've been in existence for about 5 years now, right?
3.5, baby.
3.5. Okay. 3.5 years.
He's a baby.
Y'all babies, newbies. And then COVID hits.
You know what? COVID, I like to call it the good, the bad, and the totally unexpected. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
We spent around for a whole year in 2019 trying to get internet in our building. That building used to be an armory. It was never wired for internet, has 14-inch brick walls. And so we always had a problem. And everybody that came in was giving us these outrageous quotes of what it was going to cost us. I finally had the opportunity to get Cynthia out from the Boom Foundation and just, tour the center. And I met her through Dallas Public Voices. I was a fellow with them last year. Amazing group that helps you create your voice, learn how to create your voice. And we definitely need a voice for women veterans. But she loved the center and was just like, how could this be? You can't get internet in this day and age. I'm like, I know, this just sounds so crazy.
It does.
So she introduced us to her tech people, and they came and gave us a really reasonable quote.
Okay.
Still more than what we had, but really reasonable.
Okay.
And so we needed the building wired. And we spoke to Spectrum, and they said, hey, we'll lay the wiring, but it's going to take us 45 to 90 days. And this is still before COVID hits. So we're like, what? We're going to be down to the summer? That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But then
90 days is crazy.
I know. But then COVID hit.
Yes.
So we were down anyway because we were sheltering in place.
Yes.
So COVID was a blessing because the time that they needed to do that work was time we couldn't open our facility anyway.
Right.
And in fact, because everybody was sheltering in place, instead of 45 to 90 days, Spectrum did it in just over 30.
Oh, great. Yeah, because everything was done. It was shut down anyway.
30 days.
Nice.
So then we were able to get back with Cornerstone BTI. They were our technology group. They redid our quote because some things had changed with COVID. It was a little bit more. And then we realized we didn't have a security system identified. So that was a whole nother amount of money. And we looked at it and we said, whoa, I don't know if we could do this. And I had reached back out to Cynthia to say, hey, she told me there are foundations that just do technology. So really I was calling her to say, hey, can you tell me some of these companies we need to get this funded? And when we told her the amount, she says, you know what, I think we can help you.
Oh, nice.
So yay for the Boom Foundation, the Boom Family Foundation.
Very nice.
And they came through with the grant. And now our center is fully internet connect. I like to tell the kids we're all the way live.
Well, that's a COVID blessing.
All the way live.
Got it done.
And so we always had a $15,000 grant to order these interactive boards to make our center really high-end technology. But why order boards that run off of the internet? We don't have any internet.
Right.
So now we can actually get our boards ordered. And the BTI that did our internet has agreed to install those boards for us because Dell has stopped all their installations due to COVID. They're not sending their people out. So that was a cost we hadn't anticipated. Who's going to install this? Yes. So by the end of the summer, the center will be the vision that we had.
Nice.
These interactive boards, this high-speed internet. We could serve up to 80 women at one time, all. And every one of our areas, what's unique about the center, and it's going to stay this way as we grow, our co-working is one segment behind the door. Our conference center is another segment behind the door. And our cafe lounge is open networking. So we can be doing trainings, having people in their private co-working, and folks enjoying the cafe lounge all at the same time without interrupting each other. And that's the concept we want to continue because a lot of co-working spaces, their co-working is their meeting space.
Right,
so when
they transition over,
they have to shut down their co-working.
Yes.
Or they have to impede on their co-working. And we don't have to do that. And we love that. We also have our walls tracked so that we can show female veteran art all year round. And so we can't wait to do our first exhibit when we open of some of our art and help them sell their art and turn their art into a business. So we are super duper excited. Also, last year we hardly raised any money, girl. You know, it's hard to get anybody to support something new, no matter how good it is. Nobody wants to be the first to your table.
Yeah.
And so we raised a very, very small amount of money last year. And then this year we kicked off the year with American First National Bank gave us 20 grand to do 4 mini micro loans. And the bank we had partnered with was a great community bank. They had been a friend of ours forever. And they were taken over by a major commercial bank that literally stopped all their community stuff. And so all of a sudden we didn't have a partner. And it took us, wow, it's now August. It took almost 5 months to find People Fund.
A new partner. Wow.
This concept. And so we were able to take our 20 grand and get an $80,000 match from them to make a $100,000 pool for that loan program I told you about.
Very nice.
But we've been sitting on this money because we're not a banker. So we needed a bank or a CDFI to partner with us to get this money out to the women the way that it was designed to get out. And then late June, we applied with everybody else in March, but late June, we got a $20,000 grant from North Texas Cares.
Okay.
And a couple of more grants so that we could do our next level business transformation program. So we have 5 women that we are transforming. They're getting a $5,000 grant and 25 hours of critical technical assistance to not only help them recover from COVID-19, but give them strategies for long-term stability. So transformation, not just surviving, but really thriving, not a concept, but a reality.
Well,
so really super excited.
I'm so excited for you too. First of all, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation because your passion leaps off the screen. Like, I could tell that you are totally operating in your total anointment because you are so excited and on fire. I'm thinking to myself, how can I help? How can I help? Maybe I could teach a class there. I don't know.
I root for you, I promise.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, she's on fire over there. So tell me the entry point for a woman who may be a veteran, and you also service veteran spouses, I understand?
Yes, we do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a woman or a veteran spouse, a veteran or a veteran spouse, what is their entry point to your center? Most
people enter through mentoring. They'll come in and say, I want to learn more. All of our programs are application-based because not everybody's ready to be certified as woman-owned. And not everybody needs to get certified because if no one's buying what you're selling, if it's that unique, you're not going to get those contracts anyway. So we try to make sure that the women are getting what they should be getting. So right now we have a $10,000 grant to help 10 women get certified as woman-owned. And we've been working with the Women's Business Council.
Oh, very nice.
Out 4 grants. Yeah, we work with Sean. We've given out 4 grants. 2 women have completed the process. 2 more women are working on their process, and we have 6 more grants to give out. But it's application-based. You have to be interviewed. You have to come with all your documentation. You have to be serious. And so if you're not serious, we're not wasting money on you. So we invest the money in you to get you certified, and then we work with you to get your first contract. And when you get your first contract through the work we've done with you, you pay us back that certification fee, which goes right back into the program to help another woman get certified.
Another woman.
So that program pays for itself. It keeps circulating that. Another way to enter is if we have programs like the Next Level Business Transformation, they have to fill out an application. And then we sent that to committee, and the committee select the women that would be a part of that program. And now we're looking at how do we help women get into federal contracting. And so we're trying to put together a program for that. So really, Chanel, what I'm trying to do is fill the gaps. There's a lot of people doing training. We don't need to get in the training space. We just need to connect them. Our slogan is connecting you is what we do. We don't do everything, but we can connect you to people that do. So there's a plethora of people doing training out there. We're not a check the box kind of organization, but we can get you to one of those, okay? But not everybody is helping you get into federal contracting as a veteran and get you verified as a veteran. Not everybody is trying to help you get capital. A lot of people are talking about it, but people aren't creating programs to really get you to the table. Eventually, we want to be a CDFI, but we don't want to compete with a People Fund or a LIFT Fund. We want to stay in our space, helping women build credit and then move on to the other CDFIs, to the other banks. And we want that. We want to be a CDFI because everywhere we open a center, we want to be able to bring those loans. so those women can access those funds, begin to grow their business. Look, $25,000 is not a lot of money. It's pittance. So if that's what you come to the table with, who's interested? Who's invested in somebody whose business is 25,000? Who's invested in somebody whose business is 100,000? There's no money to be made there, but guess what? We're not just building businesses. We're transforming lives. Yes. So when we help that woman become self-sufficient, we're strengthening her family structure. We know that women give when they have more. And we also know from the Philanthropy of Women Institute that they give where they're connected, and they're connected to their communities. So we're also strengthening our communities when we help these businesses build up. And last but not least, we know small businesses fuel our nation's economy.
Absolutely.
So as we build these women, we have self-sufficient, stronger families, stronger communities, and a stronger economy. It is a win-win for everybody involved that you don't let these people go to the waste and then become an entitlement. I need housing, I need food stamps, I need transportation, I need free this. No, these people have already shown they have tenacity.
Yes.
They have the get up and go. And they've served this country. So who else, more than the people who have served this country, deserve an opportunity to live the American dream, to have their own business? Who?
I think that is a great way to end this podcast. That was wonderful, VR. Absolutely. I co-sign everything you just said. You just gave me a whole moment here today. I think you took me to church. It was just totally great.
We didn't know scripture now, so let's talk.
I mean, we got close. We were right there on the edge, but we pulled back. But that's for a future podcast. That's for a future podcast. But I believe in everything that you just said. Small businesses are the engine of this economy. We are going to be critical in turning this recession around, because we are in a recession. It's already here. And without small businesses, America will not be able to get back on its feet. So everything that you're doing, everything that you've said, absolutely 100%. Thank you for all that you're doing, VR.
And I'm challenging you right now, girl, get connected. We got something for you to do. And definitely at your level and your experience, you bring something to the table for our female military spouses, as well as for our female veterans, because we are the military community. We're a community, we're family, and we all have to look out for each other. I'm a brat, so my mom was a military spouse, but I understand the sacrifice that a family makes, totally different from the sacrifice that somebody that signs on the dotted line makes, but still in all, we are a community, and we are the military family. We need to support each other and make sure that that family doesn't fall apart.
And that is strong. I look forward to it. We're going to definitely talk offline about how I can get more connected. I'm excited for what you're doing in Dallas, and I'm so excited to find out what you're going to do next. You know, what city you're going to land in next. Maybe you'll go to my hometown in New Orleans next, right next door. You never know.
What New Orleans got going on. If they're ready to do it, they got to be ready.
Listen, they got to be ready. Absolutely. For VR to come to your town, you got to be ready. So thank you, VR. I appreciate
Thank you for having me.
You can find all of our past episodes on iTunes, Spotify, and Google, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Be sure to subscribe to the show, rate, and leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Thank you for listening.